of the behaviors that we were taught either out of preservation or out of a necessity, right? When you translate those to professional environments, they hold us back unconsciously, right? And unless we address them, it makes it really hard to achieve the things that we desire.
Hey everyone, this is The Reset, and I'm your host, Letitia Barriola. I am a life and career coach, and I am here to help you reset and create the career you've always wanted. So I want to ask you, have you heard of the phrase generational habits? Now, I know you've heard of generational curses, but what about habit? And have you thought about how they may be showing up at work, like in the workplace, in the office, virtual, whatever, right? Have you thought about how they may be holding you back from advancing in your career? Let me tell you, I have never thought of it this way before this conversation. It was eye-opening, and it's with a really brilliant woman. She is a business marketing strategist and founder of I Choose the Ladder, Wachin Yanu. She's really helping Black women make really great strides in corporate America. And she's the one that brought this idea to me, this concept of generational habits and how she's seeing it play out in the workplace. And she's gonna teach us a thing or two about how to spot it, bring awareness to it, and how to break the cycle. All right, let's listen to our conversation. Hello, Wachin. Thank you so much for joining us on The Reset.
Thank you so much for having me.
With the lipstick popping, yes.
Listen, Black Girl Magic. This is Prima Donna by the Lip Bar. I absolutely swear by it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and we're matching today. But listen, the audience knows who you are at this point, and I want to dive right into this idea of breaking generational habits in the workplace. We talk about generational curses or generational habits sort of in our families, right? In our personal lives, but I've never heard it applied to our work life. Can you explain what this looks like?
Right. So we talk about generational habits and curses in our personal life,
yeah,
but you bring your whole person to work. So you don't just leave the things that happen, right? Or the things that you learn or the things that we're led to believe. They don't stop at the door. When you get to work, that whole person with the things that we've been taught to prioritize or taught to think about or how to behave, those things come with us. And for a lot of us, Black folks specifically, it doesn't help us, right? So one of the examples that I like to give, when you're a child, right, self-advocacy looks like talking back. We were raised that when a person in a position of power says something, you don't question it and you do what you're told, or else there are consequences. Mm-hmm. Well, if you don't learn to advocate for yourself in all of those formative years, how do we expect you to be able to do that when you get to work, when the power dynamics are pretty much the same, the stakes are even higher because it's your livelihood? When someone of power tells you something, your instinct is going to be not to respond because you don't want the consequences. And so I say all the time, it's fascinating to me that we expect Black folks specifically to be good at things in adulthood that they were punished for as children. Like, where are they supposed to learn it?
And this is so true, because I'm thinking in my head about some of my coaching clients who are brilliant, strong, intelligent women who struggle with pushing back in the workplace. And I'm like, how is this possible? You're the smartest person in the room. And I never factored in like their upbringing and the culture that a lot of us grew up in. Is like, this is what it is, and that's what you do. Yep. And so I can see now how that carries into the boardroom. So maybe too, it will help to illustrate like how it's holding back. Let's talk about Black women specifically, right? People like me and you. How is it holding back Black women in the workplace now that we have this awareness around what we're taking with us to work?
Some of the things that we were punished for, penalized for as children are actually really important and critical in order to move up professionally. So for example, right, you don't tell your business, right? When you're a kid, like you keep your family stuff in your family stuff, you don't really share too much. Well, in corporate, it looks like building a network. You are required to share parts of yourself in order to connect with people, right? Because people give opportunities to people who they feel they know, they like, and they trust. Whether that's fair or not, that's the culture that we're in. And so if you come into a workplace and you're like, I'm not telling these people nothing, I'm here to work. You can do that, but professionally, there are consequences. And so some of the behaviors that we're taught either out of preservation or out of a necessity, right? When you translate those to professional environments, they hold us back unconsciously, right? And unless we address them, it makes it really hard to achieve the things that we desire.
And this brings me to the example of mentorship, where I see a lot of women wonder why they don't have mentors flocking, that in their circle around them that they can talk to when ish hits the fan or they need some support. But now bringing this to my awareness, it's like, well, what if the question is, well, who are you opening up to? Like, who even knows what's going on with you in the first place? Like, start there. And that could open up a whole new conversation.
Absolutely.
And if we were to reframe this, right? So obviously we're taking in some, I don't know if you would label it bad, but there are habits that in our culture that we have dealt with that may be holding us back. So is the opposite true of how we grew up and some of the traditions and culture stuff in our households that's actually we can use to our advantage, or that is helping us?
Absolutely. So one thing for certain is that we are a find a way or make a way people, right? Like there are positions where you see Black folks in the workplace and you're like, how does she do that? Right? Because we were raised that like, you don't make excuses. You have to figure it out. And so when you run into obstacles, you don't just fold, right? Like you'll just give up and say, oh my God, this is hard, right? You find a way, you figure it out. And even if it takes you a little bit longer, what you're not going to do is quit. And when you think about kids, so I was a very bad child, right? I used to get into fights all the time, right? And my perspective was like, you're gonna have to beat me. Like, there's no way that I'm giving up. Like, I have to clearly lose, right? In an effort to like, before I wave the white flag. And I feel like that's how I've approached my career. Like, I'm going to keep going until I accomplish what it is that I need to or I want to accomplish. And there's literally nothing or no one who's going to tell me otherwise. And I feel like that was very much cultivated in me as a child. And I love that. Like that is a part of me that I stand on, that has allowed me to accomplish as much as I have, because like, who's gonna beat me? Nobody. Literally nobody.
Talk that talk, girl. Yes, yes. And that's what I mean, frankly, I love about being Black and having the spirit of a Black woman is that we have this audaciousness about us. Some of us have to cultivate it. I had to a little bit, within my own culture though. I found my own audacious spirit from some of my icons, right? And learning from them, hearing their lyrics, and that helped me figure out, oh, well, I'm also that girl too, right? So I appreciate that. And I inherently knew the answer to this question, but I wanted to hear, like, I know what makes us great, right? And how we can take our backgrounds into the workplace and be amazing. I know that. But I wanted you to say it in your way, because I knew I was going to get an answer like that. Incredible, incredible. Okay, so let's go back to the habits though that are holding us back. Finally, give us some tangible things that we can do now that we're aware that, oh shoot, I may be, holding myself back. What can people do to break the cycle?
So one, like, don't be angry at the people who you feel like gave you advice or things that are now that you're having to unlearn, right? I don't think that the advice that we get from people, like, it's malicious. They were not trying to hurt you professionally. They were using the information and their experiences that they had to give you the best that they thought that they could, right? So don't start be like, oh, I wish my mama had. I would like that at that point is not productive. And they did the best that they can.
Yeah.
The second thing is like, ask for help. One of the things that I love about being Black is our catchphrases, like closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah.
If you are someone who now realizes that you have some professional gaps and you see someone in the workplace, whether they're a Black person or not a Black person, right? Have the courage to ask for help. And you may not get the type of help that you initially want or desire, but you will get the help that you need, right? And so being willing to open yourself up to ask for help. And then giving yourself grace as you learn, right? Like these things are new to you. These concepts are new to you. The ways of operating are new to you, the culture, the people, the expectations. And so give yourself grace as you start to unlearn the old behaviors and then start to learn the new behaviors.
Well, we have you to thank for opening up this new pathway, opening up this new way of thinking, this awareness. Sometimes getting awareness doesn't feel that great, right? In the beginning, you're now aware of what you've been doing the last decade of your, of your work experience, but today can be different and tomorrow can be different. And it's because of you. And I really appreciate you for coming onto the Reset, opening up our minds to this new way of thinking. Thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.